sorry, but Donald Trump hates veterans. He called them suckers and losers. He did. He absolutely, despite, he has his whole life. He has his entire life.
I know you're super emotional. I just...
Of course I am.
What's happening, everybody? The lone voice of sanity in the mental asylum that is CNN, Scott Jennings, recently sat on a panel of whining liberal propagandists. Scott Jennings remained logical and rational as one of the panel's guests, comedian Pete Dominick, had a Trump-deranged meltdown. Watch our boy Scott Jennings hold in his laughter as this dude loses his fucking mind because he's been confronted with, you guessed it, facts, not feelings. Let's go.
If you look at the arc of the Biden presidency, he was in really good shape until August of 2021. When Afghanistan happened, he went under 40, she went under 40, and they really lived there until the end of the presidency. He's still there.
Why?
Look, I'll tell you
because he ran and told us that the adults were back in charge, and that was the opposite.
Yeah, they
of
were
that.
because
and
Donald Trump was a child.
And you know what else?
Yeah.
And you know what else?
He's a
the fact that they wouldn't give these 13 service members' families the time of
bullshit,
day.
Dude.
Time of day.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but Donald Trump hates veterans. He called them suckers and losers. He did. He absolutely, despite, he has his whole life. He has his entire life.
I know you're super emotional. I just...
Of course I am. I'm terrified.
I'm telling you, the political reality is that when they made that decision...
It doesn't matter. But you don't admit
that
Donald Trump hates veterans. You don't admit it. You deny a man, Chief John Kelly, a Marine. You say he lied.
You're still campaigning.
You say he lied. It's not over. It'll never be over. It'll never be over. You wish.
The political reality is when they made that decision and everyone realized, oh my gosh, these aren't the competent adults that we were promised.
Donald Trump does.
And then when you pile on top of it the decisions that made inflation worse, it was a compounding interest of political crap over time that they could never get out of. And that's how she lost the race.
There was a bipartisan consensus to get out of Afghanistan. That wasn't the point. It was the way it was done.
Decision to get out.
Hold on. It was the implementation. It was the fact that they took out our soldiers first instead of last, which is you would think would be common sense. And again, it's like you said, we thought the adults were in the room. That's why people voted for Biden. A return to normalcy, a return to competence. He's a lifelong public servant. We thought we're going to get normal, we're going to get competent. And that's what
we did. And if in the veterans community,
Afghanistan doesn't signal that.
The wars in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq, the Republican policies that led to those wars, the idea that Joe Biden made the final difficult decision, and his administration and his military leaders. I mean, you guys live on the tippy top of bullshit mountain. If you actually think that so many people think that the pullout of Afghanistan was the pivot point, are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, I can read a chart and I can read a poll. I guess you can't. But the reality is when he made that decision...
Your petty insults
are
so weak, dude. You have no idea. Like, I don't even understand if you hear yourself talking.
Look,
you can laugh all you want, but like, I can't read a chart. Like, it's just so hacky. It's so uninteresting.
Look, the reason that we brought this up is because that was from a Democratic.
Even if you're having a bad day right now and that doesn't put a smile on your face, I don't know what else I can show you. I saw an article or something that said Scott Jennings shouldn't have to buy a beer, at least in a red state, for the foreseeable future. I have to agree. How many of us that share similar viewpoints could have sat at CNN the entire election season taking enemy fire for a year straight? Everything you say is met with, but Trump and because the dipshit ideologues can't have a good faith argument. Scott Jennings is doing the Lord's work. Without him, there would have been no check on all of CNN's preposterous claims throughout the election season. He calls out their BS, takes every attack they have from him, and he just smirks. Do any of you feel like those of us on the right, when Scott Jennings is laughing at these idiots, like we're all in on the inside joke with him? It's like you can read his mind. When he looks at the camera, he's like, yeah. I feel like he's saying to every rational American, you believe this shit? So apparently this dude that was freaking out is a comedian, right? Look, I'm no comedy expert, but it wasn't all that funny to me. I don't know if this appearance is going to boost his attendance at his upcoming club shows, but who knows? But tell me, this is not a perfect example of feelings over facts. This guy has lost it. When I say Trump derangement syndrome is real, This is a walking, breathing example. For him to sit there and say that Donald Trump hates veterans, dude, here's the difference between you and us. We care about actions and results. You care about hearsay and someone might have said and this and this. I've mentioned in other videos, every time they attack Trump, it's he said this, he said this, he said this, he said this. I'm not saying never, but rarely is it he did this. It's always he said, he said, he said. Not that you all need to, but anyone can go look online and see Trump's genuine empathy when he's interacting with an injured soldier or the families of fallen soldiers. I mean, okay, let's say he's acting. Let's say worst case scenario, he's acting. Tell you what, it doesn't feel that way to me. I'm seeing his actions, right? And I don't think he is, but let's say he is. I don't see that behavior from the other side. Joe Biden couldn't be bothered to go to the memorial of the 13 Marines that he let die in Afghanistan. Couldn't be bothered. You remember what he did when he's at the funeral? Checking his watch. It's taking a little too long for him. Got a nap to get to. Sorry for that little outburst, but don't disrespect our military. Donald Trump sure doesn't. So this guy has no clue what he's talking about. God, can you imagine how bad must that show be if he's a comedian? Good Lord, it must suck. I bet 90% of his material is, hey guys, isn't Trump stupid? And everyone's like, yeah. What a douchebag. Oh my God. And I love when Scott says, dude, I understand you're super emotional right now. He goes, you're darn right I am. Dude, he was making fun of you. That's how much you've lost it. You're a comedian and you don't realize that men don't get emotional over presidential elections. The whole reason any of you watch this channel right now is because we all have a brain and we're logical and we see how funny these idiots are. As much as I don't understand them, I'm so grateful for them because they make me like genuinely laugh. Outside of being on camera here, I see this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, like the audience is going to love this. Have they seen this yet? I love it because it's given me a platform to make fun of them, but it is hard to believe these people exist, but you see it all the time. We all need to take a page from Scott Jennings' playbook. This dude doesn't even argue when dipshits like this guy make stupid claims that just aren't true, like Donald Trump hates veterans. He laughs at his face. What I'm learning is myself, and I recommend any of you, if you've been in this trap, you can't take the bait. Not to mention, if he'd refuted that stupid statement, he would have had to waste his time explaining how wrong the guy was, give him all the facts about it, to some idiot that is so far gone there's not a chance of changing his mind. I've been in that situation before where I want to shake someone and be like, I don't know where you're getting this information, but you're just wrong, and here's why. Scott Jennings was just like, dude, you're still campaigning. He's essentially saying what I've said in other videos. Scoreboard, dude. It's over. What are we talking about? Let's all of us just collectively laugh when we hear something ludicrous said about Trump. I'm such a fact, data-backed guy that, like, when I have a conversation, that's what I want to get into. But these people don't. Even if you have all the receipts, they're not going to listen to you. They're crazy, man. Short one today, but I've been excited to show you guys this one. It's so freaking funny, man. But that's it for today's video. If you like watching insane people with Trump derangement syndrome, just go bananas and click on one of the two videos that just popped up on your screen. Otherwise, guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being here. The end.